I'm reading this magazine and they have a list of the all-time best movies, and believe it or not, there is not a single mention of Citizen Kane or Casablanca. Ridiculous.
Yes, a real shame, I'm sure.
So Steve, if you had to pick one favorite movie of all time, one all-time best movie, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know, I don't care. I don't have time for any of those trivialities. Don't you have something better to do?
Come on, Steve. You must be able to name at least one all-time best movie.
Oh, all right. SpongeBob SquarePants.
The original or the 2015 sequel, SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water?
Oh, I don't believe it.
Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, you do seem to be, if you don't mind my saying so, a little obsessed with sponges today. Is there something you wanted to tell us about sponges?
Absolutely, Karl. When I used to work in the kitchens, one of the first things the health inspector would do when he came on his many visitations was go straight to the pot washing area and check out the sponges for cleaning all the pots, because they can be just a hive for bacteria, like this one, so to speak. And what we would have to do is just dispose of them. They're very, very cheap, and unless you clean them and boil them, get rid of them.
I don't like that having that around here.
Get rid of it, absolutely.
Well, that's a very good thing. And, you know, and these things are so cheap, you can just, like use them and...
Get rid of them.
Once they start to get a bit woofy, get rid of them.
Out the door.
Get new.
Exactly.
Okay, coming up on the program today, our special guest is LeDrew. Singer, songwriter, musician. Many of you will remember Chris from Brothers in Stereo. He's a solo recording artist as well. As a matter of fact, this is one of his latest. It's called Art of the Confessor. So what will we be making for Chris today?
I've got some wonderful beef tenderloin, and we're going to be serving that with some oyster mushrooms.
That sounds like an absolutely royal repast. And also on the program today, we have mixologist Sheldon O'Neill with us, and he's going to be making a cocktail featuring vodka, strawberries. It's called a Cloud 9. So get ready to ride to Cloud 9 with us on the show today. We'll be right back. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600. Well, here we are about to push LeDrew completely out of his comfort zone.
Yes, indeed.
I look forward to it. So what are we going to be making today?
Chris, what we've got here is some beautiful beef tenderloin. We're going to lightly season that with salt and pepper. We're going to saute that with a little bit of oil and some butter. And then we're going to be putting some shallots in there and some oyster mushrooms as well.
That
so
is
delicious.
One big steak.
Absolutely, Karl.
That's an American steak.
That's an American steak.
Yeah,
indeed
that's
it is.
a Texas steak.
And
Yeah.
Karl, what I'm going to get you to do, I've got
Right.
some potatoes there with some caramelized onions and some feta into it. I want you to dip it into a little bit of panko breading, and we'll get you to fry them
Now,
up
why do
first.
those potatoes not look like potatoes?
Well, we mash them and then we roll them in some saran wrap as well. So they're
okay.
perfectly round. Chill them down.
I was going to say, is that bread pudding? Okay.
Very good. So we'll get these on here, our nice steaks. We've got the oil in there, and I'll put our butter in there as well to start going. Then I'll give you a set of tongs, and once we put the steaks in there, I'll get you to play around with them, turn them up and down.
You can probably move that butter around too.
Yeah,
and mix it with the oil.
Looks good.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So, Chris, I have to say, I read your CV, and I actually got tired reading it because you do so many things. You're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a musician, you're a photographer, and you're an instructor at MUN. You teach poetry?
Well, I actually, now, in the last couple of years, I've been teaching at Marine Institute, so I teach technical English, so the other side of poetry.
Okay.
The flip side of poetry.
That is a different kind of poetry.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I was at MUN for several years, and then I moved up to Marine Institute, which is it's a great place to work. I really enjoy it, and so yeah, it's a technical side of English, but it's still very important, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But now I was going to ask, and this probably doesn't apply to that kind of English, but does each of those kind of feed into the other? All of these various endeavors.
Well, yeah, you know, especially when I started teaching English literature, I was coming from being a solely musician for my whole adult life, but it never felt like work to me teaching poetry because it was still an analysis of a creative art form. So I would look forward to going in and sort of asking the students what they think of a certain line or a certain turn of phrase or a certain theme. So it felt to me, and it was like lyric writing. And I did teach songs too. I taught Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan, along with Shakespeare and Robert Browning and stuff like that. So I had a chance to sort of bring music into it and make a little bit of a mix as well. So it was definitely interesting.
How about Leonard Cohen? Any Leonard Cohen?
Yeah, I taught Leonard Cohen a poem called "A Kite Is a Victim." It's from, I think, the early '70s or maybe the late '60s. And also I did "Closing Time," one of Cohen's songs from his '93 record, "The Future." So I got to teach, because Leonard is actually in the anthology of poetry. Yeah. But
well, they were teaching Cohen when I was at Munn, which was eons ago.
Yes, it would have been, I guess, Suzanne or something like that.
First year, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's still in there too. Right? So Lennon and McCartney actually made the anthology, the latest couple of editions. They have Eleanor Rigby.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and so I taught Eleanor Rigby as well, so I was able to play them the song on the speakers in the classroom, and then sort of ask them what they thought about it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I suppose I should do something.
Absolutely. No, Karl, in the pan.
Oh! Sorry. I was going to oil the potato and then put them in the pan.
It's all going to the same place.
It's all going to the same place, indeed.
That's the first time he's raised his voice at me. No, actually, that's not true. He raises his voice at me all the time. I was going to say, in 10 years, it's the first time you've ever spoken to me like that. Yeah.
Put our oyster mushrooms in and get them started.
So I guess you're going to tell me when I should...
maybe we'll flip one now and just have a look at it, see what she's like on the other side. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Like that, and the same with the other one.
Very good.
I would leave it a little longer, but
okay, we'll turn it back. We'll turn it back over because of it. Yeah, turn it back.
Will we do all three now?
No, just turn that one back.
Bring it back. Okay.
Did I tell you I was a food critic?
Well,
yeah.
I'm deferring to all your expertise here.
Look, I have to defend myself, because you know why I was doing this.
Yes, go ahead.
I was putting oil on these potato cakes because they have to be breaded.
Only just lightly. That's what I said to you before the show. You lightly put the breading on the potato.
Yes.
Without any oil.
The oil gives them something to stick to.
Okay, well, let's go ahead.
See what I'm saying?
The oil is up. Let's go.
Oh, well, no, I'm going to do it your way, huh?
He just doesn't listen.
I'm going to do it your way. If you're going to shout at me like that, that's it. I'm just going to do it your way.
Yes.
Have your way. So, Chris, the teaching is, I guess that's what came first. I mean, I guess you came out of high school and decided you want to be a teacher, or?
Well, I came out of high school very much a musician, and
your parents said no way.
100% accurate. You can't really be a musician. That's a hobby.
Yeah, that's right.
And people still do refer to music as a hobby, which is it is a hobby for many people.
Yeah.
But for me, it was what I did all through my 20s. I went to university for 1 year.
Yes.
And then left university because I wanted to pursue music full time.
Right.
So I did that until I was about 30, and then I realized, I kind of miss university. I really enjoyed studying English. Especially. So I went back, returned, and did my undergrad in English.
Okay.
And then I was offered a bursary to continue on for my master's. So that wasn't my intention. Was never really to teach. It was just to sort of further my education and, keep myself out of trouble.
Yep.
And but when I graduated, then they were looking for people to teach English. So I ended up teaching. So it's just one of these things you kind of go along in life and you sort of stumble into these, different situations and you kind of go with them. And,
Okay, that's enough about the teaching, huh? I want to talk about music.
Okay.
When did you start performing music?
I did my first show with my first band when I was 14, actually, at St. Peter's Gym. I was going to St. Peter's and we were all in grade 9.
Yeah.
And we did we did a concert. We had a band, and we did some Beatles songs and a couple of Who songs and Chuck Berry and stuff. And it was a mixture of a couple of guys from the Catholic school and a couple of guys from the Protestant school. So they got permission from the Protestant school to come over and play to the Catholic school. It's different times, obviously. About over 30 years ago. Yeah. So that was my first experience on stage, and I was hooked from there.
Now, I know your dad, and I know he likes listening to music. But was he a player? Did he play an instrument or?
No, Dad didn't play. Dad could always sing, and my mom, both of them are very good singers.
Okay.
But not trained or anything, just like to sing. Yeah. And then Dad's big role in my musical, life was that all the albums that were, because we talked about VOWR earlier, and how, they wouldn't play certain types of music, but all the record labels would send these albums into VOWR, all these rock and roll, like CCR, Neil Diamond, and of course before they got a chance to be scratched and ruined or whatever, Dad would bring them home. So I got, when I was 5, 6 years old, I was listening to Paul McCartney and Wings and CCR and stuff like that, and so I kind of got an early lesson in what was good.
That's great. So I'm going to duck out now, since everything's under control. Watch my cakes.
I will do, Karl.
Get a bottle of wine to go with this.
I will do. Oh, you will do. Yes, indeed. So you can turn them all over now. They're looking great.
Excellent. Great.
And
it's really good.
Potato cakes are coming on good. Our oyster mushrooms. In a moment, we'll add the shallots to it. A little bit of Madeira wine. Masala wine. And we'll add our sauce to it. And away we go.
Excellent. Now, do you usually flip these too?
You can flip them as well.
Okay, they look great.
Nice and golden brown they are. Now coming, absolutely.
Delicious.
It's that butter in there, you see. So.
Yeah.
Hi, Greg.
Hello, Karl.
So we've got a bit of a meaty dish today. Well, a very meaty dish. It's beef tenderloin in a nice sauce, demi-glace. We've got oyster mushrooms, we've got shallots, we've got potato cakes. So what does Dialogue Wines recommend pairing with this carnivore's delight?
Well, delight indeed. Lots of flavors to work with, I think, in that dish, Karl. So we chose a variety of wines, New World, Old World, some white, a little bit of red. As you know, some people are going to drink white wine, and that's what they want. So let's start off with that suggestion. So if you're going to have a white wine, I think that you want something that's going to really measure up to the dish. It's not going to be overwhelmed by the dish. Clausen Chase Vineyard makes some of the best Chardonnay in Canada, in my opinion. Full-bodied, a little bit of oak, nice texture, straight out of Prince Edward County in Ontario. The second suggestion is a wine from the southern Rhone Valley in France, and it's called Xavier, Côte de Rhône, a little bit of Syrah, some Grenache, dried figs, dried herbs. Medium to full-bodied wine would really stand up well to the dish, I think. I think it would work well with the flavor profile. And last but not least, we have a wine from Argentina called La Mascota Vineyards, and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon. And this is really a fruit-driven wine. Licorice, raspberries, blackberries, black currants, almost like a compote for your dish, I think, if you wanted to think of it in that way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And the price points?
The price points. The Clausen Chase Vineyards wine is about $24. The Xavier Côte de Rhône is about $21. And then we have La Mascota is about $18.
And we should point out to our viewers that NLC prices are subject to change. So
yes, they are.
while we're taping this, these are the prices, but it's possible that when you go to the liquor store, they may be a little bit different. So bear that in mind. Now, I'm going to go with this one because it has a bit of Syrah, and I think that little bit of peppery kick will be good with this tenderloin. So
probably the best choice.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Good.
Thank you.
So a little final touch of our reduction of shallots, Marsala wine and demi-glace. And let's go and see Chris and Karl in the dining room and see if Chris has taught Karl a little bit of poetry.
Okay, some red wine to go with the red meat. Have a taste. Let us know your opinion of this steak, which you, after all, cooked. I'm not going to taste the potato because I know it's brilliant. Medium rare.
Just as
That's
you
the
want
way
it.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent.
That is really, really tasty. I don't think any of us are going to be hungry yet.
No, we need not. No,
Finish this.
not today.
This is, once again, I want to show this. This is Chris's solo CD, and it's called Art of the Confession. Is that correct?
Art of the Confessor.
Art of the Confessor. Yeah, see, I don't have my reading glasses on. Sorry about that.
It almost was that, the Confession, but we changed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we've been listening to it, and
Thank
it's brilliant. It's the kind of CD I like to pop in when I'm driving in the country, and it's got a certain soulfulness about it that I like, and the melodies are great.
I appreciate that.
So you made this in Nashville
I did.
with Joshua Grange.
Yep. Joshua was a friend of mine from the steel guitar world. We're both steel guitarists. And Josh is from Los Angeles, and he's played with so many bands over the years. Incredible player. And so we decided, he built a studio in Nashville a couple of years ago, and I wanted to make a new record, and he made it available to me. He said, we should work here together, and so we did.
Now, I read somewhere, I think, that he kind of pushed you out of your comfort zone with this CD.
Yeah, he did quite a bit, because my sort of prevalent style was Beatles, Birds, sort of harmony-driven, melodic, sort of upbeat, kind of music. And Josh was coming from a whole other sort of atmospheric kind of sound, and I sent him the demos I had, and we also co-wrote together, and he sort of had a different vision than I had for the record. And I said, my vision was quite a bit the same as what I usually had. So I was like, I think I'm going to go with what he's seeing here and just go out on a limb and try something new. So we made a record that was unlike any other record I'd made, which was, I'm even if it's not even if we go revert back on the next record, then at least we have, I knew what it was, what the results were of going out on the limb and doing something different, Yeah.
Well, I wish we had more time to chat with you, because I'm a big steel guitar fan too. I love that sound. There's just something about the sound of steel, ever since I was a kid. Yeah. This is great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thanks so much for being with us, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
cheers.
my pleasure.
Cheers to you, and we'll be right back with Sheldon O'Neill, who is a liquid chef or mixologist, some people might call him, and he's going to make a great cocktail called Cloud 9. Our next guest is a liquid chef or mixologist, if you prefer. He's freelance, but I first tasted his creations at Basho restaurant on Duckworth Street. And as a matter of fact, I believe the results of his tremendous creativity can still be tasted at Basho, certainly in the bar upstairs. It's our pleasure to welcome to One Chef One Critic once again, Sheldon O'Neill.
Thank you.
Great to see you again, Sheldon. Absolutely.
Thanks for having me again.
Master mixologist. I bow to the master mixologist.
Much appreciated. We'll see if it's deserved. We're not sure.
Okay, so what are you going to do for us this time round?
So like I said, a little bit different from the last time that you guys had me in. So this again was created for Basho restaurant this time, as you said, courtesy of Iceberg Vodka, locally made vodka, great product, and they had a little promotion on, so so we'd come up with. Yeah. So this is a vodka base, of course, and for starters, we're going to muddle up some of the dry ingredients first. So the base of this one is going to be black peppercorns. So we're probably looking about, for each, so I'm going to make 2 of these, so I'm going to double up. So for each of these, we're looking at about 8 to 10 black peppercorns. And then the second being a dried star anise.
Oh, I love star anise.
And black peppercorns are important because a white pepper tastes completely different.
Completely different ball game.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, then the just dried star anise, which give you that kind of licoricey flavor. So you'll find this very prominent in Sambuca, also used in absinthe, and surprisingly Galliano, which is a vanilla flavored liqueur.
Now, where can you buy star anise?
Any Asian variety store would be your best bet.
Okay.
Is
there like a liquid substitute for that?
There is. You can get anise extract. But for any of your viewers that are going to make this at home, then I would suggest being very careful. That anise extract is quite powerful.
Very concentrated, probably.
So as opposed to a couple of chunks of the dry star anise, you would only need maybe 1 to 2 drops.
Got you.
Yeah. So black peppercorns and then your star anise. Next we're going to use some just fresh squeezed lemon juice. So rather than try to muddle in the anise and the peppercorns, then you want to try to get a bit of liquid in there. And that'll
When you
help
say
break.
muddling, what do you mean by muddling? You putting it all together, then you're going to crush it, or?
Yeah, so similar in a mortar pestle type
okay.
situation, but this one you're just making the straight in the shaker tin, and basically you just want to break open these dried ingredients and release the flavors there. And for this, you don't want to break it up too much because then when you're trying to strain it into your glass, you don't want the big chunks. You just want to get a quick little break of these flavors, and that should be able to do it there for you. So once that's in there, again, we're going to use fresh strawberries. So for each, you're probably looking about 1.5 large size strawberry. So you put that right in there on top, and again, take your muddler and you want to, with each press, probably a half turn, and just keep basically mash it up till you release all the juices there. So you get a nice flavor with this, and then a nice scent there as well with the.
Start to smell the scent now, especially the MSC's coming through.
Oh yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, you sure can.
So you get that into a nice paste-like consistency. And the vodka base, so we're going to go 2 ounces for each one. So we're going to do 4 ounces there.
Right.
And then the turbinado simple syrup. So it's basically a more raw, unprocessed form of sugar, form of brown sugar. So for each, you're looking at about an ounce.
You can make that on the stove yourself, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this one in particular, it's 1 part equal water to sugar.
Right. Yep.
Bring that to a boil, just mix it up and just let all the sugar crystals dissolve.
Yep.
And then you're good to go. Let that cool, and that'll sit for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then a little bit more lemons, about an ounce for each cocktail. So once you get that set, before you shake that up, and grab some ice here and just ice up your glasses.
That is the most beautiful ice I've ever seen.
Thank you. It's becoming a little bit of a
trend, right?
A trend now. It's ice is very important in cocktails. Which a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
people
it's
find.
not only great because it's a large chunk, but it's so clear. I mean, there's a certain beauty to it.
Yeah, and especially I guess we're keeping consistent with the product and the iceberg. It's nice to see that clarified large chunks.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take a couple of small ones in the shaker here.
Yeah.
And you want to shake it to build up a little frost on the outside of these shakers, so you know you're chilled down, and the ice is also going to melt a bit, break down, and kind of give you a little bit more liquid.
Ole!
So with this one, where you do have the broken up bits and kind of the muddled up strawberry, when you do your strain, I like to do a secondary strain. So once with your Hawthorne strainer, and then second with a fine strain.
Okay.
So you just put that straight up on over the ice. And since it is thick, you do want to kind of push it through.
Okay.
So you can do this with a muddler or any tool that you have just to kind of spread it out. And it does get caught up a little bit at times.
Yep.
It should get most out.
There we go. So we've got about 2 ounces per drink. Is it 2 to 3 ounces?
2 ounces of vodka per cocktail. And most of the large bits are pulled out of here.
There we go.
Drop this down. And then the remainder pull straight out.
Okay.
Get a little bit at the ends there.
Voila.
And then that'd be the starting point. So that's just your vodka-based cocktail. And then the second component of this one, there's a few steps there, would be the Calpico Topper. So this is a local Japanese product. Right now only available really at Basho is your go-to spot for that. But for your viewers, if this is something that they want to try out at home, then kefir would be an acceptable substitute for sure.
So we're not done yet, are we?
Not finished yet.
Okay.
No.
I think we have to hurry on because we're getting the wrap.
Coming up. So the second component would be just this ISI canister with Calpico.
Oh, that's the Calpico.
That's the Calpico.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's like a frothy milk.
Yeah, now it starts off as quite liquidy, but with the ISI canister, it's cherished with...
change the dimension to it altogether, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's quite attractive.
It's not a bad looking drink.
Here we go, Cloud 9. Thank you so much for being with us, Sheldon. It's great to have you again.
My absolute pleasure.
And that's it for this edition of
One Chef,
One Critic. This is crazy. You know, I'm reading this magazine and they have the list of the top 10 movies of all time. And not once is there a mention of Citizen Kane or Casablanca. It's ridiculous.
Yes, a real shame, I'm sure.
So, Steve, what movie would you pick for your favorite of all time?
Oh, I don't know, I don't care. I don't have time for such trivialities. Don't you have something better to do?
Oh, come on, Steve. You must be able to pick one all-time favorite movie.
All right, SpongeBob SquarePants!